Hello everyone, I'm Kohhei.
And I'm Leticia. I'm from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, while Kohhei is from Toyohashi in Japan. Today, we are here to speak about comprehensive sexual education, a new form of teaching children and teenagers about sexual health, a sexual education that blends into life. We decided to speak about this topic because we both felt that in our families and with our friends, there was not enough space to speak about sexuality and issues regarding the body, like pains and awkward topics.
Then we realized this is not a personal problem because within our communities in Brazil and Japan, young people often receive very simple and insufficient sexual education in school and their family circle. Now, I have a question. Do you feel uncomfortable speaking about sex? During elementary school and high school, for example, students are often taught only about the biological aspect of sex, pregnancy, and menstruation without ever having conversation about the intimate and personal side of sexual relations. As a result, we observe children and students often feels really ashamed about their growing sexual curiosity and uncomfortable speaking about sex with friends, family, and partners.
In order to try and make young people feel more comfortable speaking about sex, we believe that sexual health should be introduced in schools as just one of the many topics of things that are important for a healthy life, alongside physical exercise, personal hygiene, a good nutrition, mental health, and interpersonal relationships. Blending sexual health into a wider debate about cultivating healthy habits has the potential to help students feel that although sex is important and personal, it's also a natural human activity that does not need to be feared, hidden, or shamed.
Therefore, we propose a sexual education that blends into life, an inclusive and dynamic form of teaching sexual health, where the sexual education has given its own school subject in a class specifically designed to discuss the topic of health. We believe this class should be taught from an early age until the conclusion of high school, without separating boys and girls in different classrooms. One of the goals of this discussing sexual health is also to teach students to respect each other's bodies and to understand when they are being disrespected.
Global statistics show us that all over the world, teenagers and children often suffer abuse and health violations. According to the Asahi Shimbun newspaper, in Japan, the number of children under the age of 18 who suffer abuse has increased every year since 2004. In the year of 2022, for example, 115,000 children were sent to social welfare by the police due to neglect, psychological, physical, or sexual abuse. Teaching children about their bodies and about cultivating healthy habits could help them understand when they are being disrespected and when they need to reach out for help. In addition to children and teenagers, women, people of LGBTQ+ community, and people of color are the ones who suffer the most from health violations and from the lack of sexual education.
According to a data survey carried out by a Brazilian non-governmental organization named CLIOLA, between January of 2020 and February of 2021, Black women in Brazil accounted for 45% of maternal deaths due to the abortion, while white women accounted for only 17% of the maternal deaths. This data illustrates common scenario worldwide where the white population receive more access to the healthcare and health education more than the population of people of color.
Similarly, many people of the LGBTQ+ community still suffer a lot of violence and health violation due to their sexual preferences or their gender identity. If we want to teach our students to learn to respect each other, they need to understand that in the world, people are not treated equally. Some people suffer abuse and health violations much more than others. A lot needs to be done if we want to create change, but education has the potential to help individuals and small groups become more accepting of the LGBTQ+ community and more respectful towards women, children, and people of color.
In order to help combat health inequality and violation while making students feel more comfortable speaking about sex, we believe these following topics should be included in the class when discussed about the sexual health. So now, we will speak about sexual orientation, sexuality, and pleasure. We believe that sexuality can be treated as something pleasurable, as it's taking a warm shower or physical exercise. Discussing pleasure alongside sexual orientation send a message to students that we are allowed to laugh in any way that makes us feel good. We must also debate that sexual orientation is diverse. Teaching students about LGBTQ+ rights and the discrimination of those who identify as a part of this community.
Now, gender identity. We must understand that gender is an identity, not a biological factor. Teaching children about transgender, including those who identify as gender fluid or non-binary, can help not only diminish the violence perpetrated against transgender and intersex people, but also help our students understand themselves during their years of development. Now on to the next topic, healthy and toxic characteristics in a relationship. It can be hard to define what is a healthy relationship, since one relationship can have both healthy and unhealthy characteristics. Therefore, we hope to incentivize students to have a conversation about what they consider to be healthy and unhealthy, so that they can reflect about their own life and interpersonal relationships. Additionally, we must teach students about emotional, financial, sexual, and physical abuse, as well as how to reach out for help if necessary.
So now, sexually transmitted disease. We defend that comprehensive sexual education needs to go beyond the biology. But of course, speaking of physical factors is also important. Sexually transmitted disease can deeply affect person's health and person's social life. So, therefore, it is essential that students are provided the information about STDs and prevention methods continuously during their school years. Next is menstruation and contraception. Menstruation must be introduced with the intention of helping young women and men feel comfortable to discuss the topic. And although the use of condoms is essential, students must learn about all of the contraceptive methods available, as well as their possible negative side effects.
In order to work towards a world where we observe less cases of abuse and less cases of health discrimination, we need to increase education about health and human rights while simultaneously creating an atmosphere in which anyone can feel free to consult and conversate. Meaning, children, teenagers, and even adults must feel comfortable to ask questions regarding health and to speak with one another about sexual relationships. Introducing comprehensive sexual education into a wider debate about health has the potential to help build a foundation for mutual conversation between friends, families, and partners.
For example, when me and Leticia started preparing for this presentation in 2020, we felt really uncomfortable speaking about the topics, even though we understood this is really important. By now, we don't feel uncomfortable anymore and can speak of it casually. The comprehensive sexual education that we propose would be just one of the steps to build a better environment. We must also work to raise our awareness and to push for change for our communities.
We thank you for listening to our TEDx talk and hope we have helped to reflect about your own dynamics in your community and about your interpersonal relationships.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.